All right, guys, welcome in. Welcome back to Above Ground World News. Some nights I wish I could give good news, but there's really never no good news. But I'm going to be showing some evidence tonight that this storm's not an actual hurricane. This is something much more worse. It's actually an attack, and we're going to show you all this information that you would never ever get from the mainstream media ever. And what we're looking at Dorian over here. We're looking at a developing hurricane over here in the Pacific. And I mean, this is going to blow your mind when we get into this information. And we're going to get into that in a minute, because it's damning evidence that this is not your typical hurricane. Let me jump over here to another scene. Now, all day long, I haven't really, wrong scene.
We've had a lot of cases where we were seeding storm.
All right. So all day long, as I walked in and out of the house, I could hear the mainstream saying this was a classic hurricane, classic eye wall. It's a monster. And it's none of them. The winds that they are reporting are not what the winds are. Now, if you guys missed us at the beginning of the week when we first started covering this, you missed out on a lot of information. But what we're looking at right now, you're looking at on the right side, that's Dorian. That's how small it is. On the left side, you're looking at a Category 5 hurricane that hit back in, I can't see the date here, 2018. Do you guys see the difference just in that part? This one here is kind of oval shape. You know, nothing about this hurricane is right. The size is not right. The winds that they're reporting are not right. The eye wall is completely, perfectly round. Has never happened before. This thing is like a Corvette going through the sky. When I show you some of this, some of these files here, it's going to just freak you out. So before we get into that file, I'm going to show you. I need to take you over here. Now, this is the path that the hurricane took, and it come right up here, and it was headed right for Puerto Rico. Well, it wasn't even a hurricane then. It was just a tropical storm. And then soon as it got past the Arecibo Observatory, which is an enhanced ionospheric heating instrument, you know, for weather control and other things. I mean, this is, I'm just showing you this because this is, these do affect the weather. You know, if you're seeing innocuous clouds and stuff like that, you know that they're messing with the weather. If there's something going on with the ionosphere, like what's been going on this whole week, you know they're messing with the ionosphere. Now, one thing I want to show you here, is that, you know, this thing slingshotted right around the ionospheric heater. Now, when we get up here and we look at the information on Dorian right now, it's going to tell us, as soon as I get the thing clicked right here, it's going to tell us the wind speeds. For some reason, I can't get it to click right here. Hold on, let me get that off. You know, the land didn't affect this thing at all. So right now it's saying hurricane 74 mile an hour maximum wind speed. So right here, you know, this is coming from the Hurricane Center. 74 mile an hour wind speed. But there's a big problem with that. And also, they're trying to create another storm to keep this storm locked in. There's a target in mind that's always been in mind, and I'm going to show you that. Let's go ahead and jump over here for a minute. Let's take a look at the Hurricane Hunters Planes information. Now, I've looked at all these, and all the winds are reporting at 44 knots, 43 knots, 46 knots, 37 knots. These are all different altitudes. You know, here's the level 700 millibars. Here's the surface 1,000, 34 knots. Let me go back here. We can click any one of these charts here, and where you're going to find the wind was up around 3,100 feet. Where's the one I want? One that shows. Okay, here we go. So the high winds they're reporting, this is in knots over here. Looks like we're right around 150 knots. So 150 knots is about 172 mile an hour winds. But this is up around 3,100 feet up in the air. This is not at the surface. This stuff that they're saying that it's 185 going to 200 miles, and that's all a lie. I mean, I looked at some of the damage that they're reporting, and I also have the webcams up. They turn the webcams off just like they always do before the storm hits. They turn them off so that you can't see what's really going on. So the winds are definitely not what they say. The eye wall's totally wrong, but what I'm getting ready to show you right now is just going to blow your mind. Now I'm going to zoom in on this sucker. Let's see if I can zoom in here, because this is going to freak you out. Oh, I got to get it back. Oh man, I didn't change scene. Sorry about that. I'll have to go back and show you all this stuff. All right, hold on here. I forgot I was on the wrong scene. It's not a hurricane. It's a weapon. It's a weather weapon. I'm fixing to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let me get it on the right scene. And let me take you back. I didn't know I wasn't showing you what I was needing to show you before I show you that. Now I got all the tracks here. And like I said earlier in the week, the storm come up here. It slingshotted around. You can go watch the microwave imagery of it. And here we are. We're coming up here, and like I said, we're clicking here on the storm here. It's saying maximum wind 74 miles an hour. You got your projected path, and on this map I have the nuclear plants, and I think this is most likely the target was the St. Lucie nuclear reactor. And I'll get into all that stuff here in a little bit. And they're trying to create another storm to keep this storm parked here. And I'm going to show you all the evidence of this. So first, let me show you here. We're looking at the Mort microwave imagery of the hurricane. You just seen what a normal hurricane looks like, and you just seen what this Dorian looks like. Now, what I want you to look at, hopefully you can see these dark lines. See these dark lines? Something being shot into the hurricane from over here out of the Keys or over off of Florida. Now just watch as this comes. I may have to add my lines, but right where my mouse is. Look, see that strong dark blue line? It looks like if you're looking at the sun data, it looks like a microwave limb coming off, injecting into this storm. I mean, this is just insane. I've been documenting these for years. This has never, ever, ever happened. The storm is too small. The eye wall's too round. And now we have what looks like a laser weapon is being used, or a microwave, in focus beams coming here on the other side of Florida. Look at that. And it shoots all the way. Some of them are feeding right into that, and then one goes way on down towards the Puerto Rico ionospheric heater. This is blatant evidence right here that they are trying to attempt to do something with this storm. Look at this. I mean, that is insane. I hope you guys can see that. This is weather warfare. This is why we look at these maps, because we catch these anomalies. Nobody else is going to find this anomaly unless they come to this site and get it. But there it is, man. That's a weapon. That's not nature at all. So here it's showing the maximum knots. And look at this outer ring. Let's go back and look at a real hurricane, and let's look at Dorian. The size difference. Look at this. But yet the mainstream keep calling this a classic cyclone, and it's nothing of the sort. Here's a classic hurricane right here. Look at the size of it. Look how the limbs, it has like the semicolon look. This thing is just like a core bit that's drilling down through the sky, wiping out everything in its path. So major. I mean, look at the ring. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect circular hurricane or cyclone or typhoon or anything. This is a weapon, man. This is a new weather weapon, and they're using it on Americans. It hacks me off. I mean, it's just insane. Let's go ahead and yeah, I'm gonna let this run through one more time. I want to make sure everybody sees this beam coming from the other side of Florida here. It shoots over. Look at it. It's like it's sending energy into it. You know, we've seen them crazy photos of something sucking something out of the sun. That's what it looks like. So this is just an insane event right here. This is in no way a normal hurricane. It's not even a hurricane. It's a weather weapon. And I think there was even other people reporting that the winds weren't as high, and that's because of the plane that went down. We also, here's the tropical storm Juliet that's going to form into like a category 2, which we showed you that in the Mimic. And we're going to get into the weather 16-day forecast here in just a here in a few minutes here. But yes, something over here was shooting some kind of energy into the so-called hurricane, which I can't even call it a hurricane. I don't know what to call it. It's not a hurricane. And if we go back and look at all the aerosols that were being deployed, the target was St. Lucy's nuclear plant. And it doesn't look like they're going to give up on it. So all the greens, these are all the nuclear plants. Then you also have the low frequency transmitters. You know, when I back this thing out, you're looking, I have everything on here. Not everything, but most of the stuff that can control the weather. I have all the ionospheric heaters worldwide on here. Everybody thinks there's just HARP. You know, HARP is one of the more powerful ones, but you have them right here in Peru. The 4.5 megawatts. I mean, this place is monstrous. It's hidden in the mountains. You know, weather can't get to this. Look how big this thing is. This thing is huge. You know, we got them up. We got all kinds. I mean, there's just so many. Oh, the other thing. The other thing I wanted to show you, if it's still on the map. All right. So where'd it go? Oh, right here. Right across from the ionospheric heater. Look, we had an earthquake. Saturday, the 31st of August. Right when the system, like, freaks out. So this didn't tell me the size of the earthquake. But it had an earthquake at the same time as we watch this map. Watch this thing cycle through. So you have a developing actual real hurricane down here. This thing is just like, it's just pulsing in and out. We just seen the microwaves coming across, shooting into it once it gets close to the Bahamas. And you can see it's doesn't look like, it didn't form anything like this natural hurricane. Look how big this one is. This one's going to be a category 2. Look how big it is. See it pulling the moisture into it. This thing should be pulling the dust from the Saharas up into it, killing it off, but it's not. It's actually gaining strength. It's a weapon. And this is the, undeniable proof right here that they are beaming energy into this. I don't even know what to call it. It's not a hurricane. So we're going to get into the 16-day forecast here in just a minute. Now I want to zoom in on this baby. Where's the eye wall? Where'd it go? I don't see the eye wall. Did it close up? When we do our 16-day forecast, we take the GFS models, we take the Canadian models, and then we factor in all the weather modification. Like, I really don't even need radars to forecast the weather, man. I go by the aerosols that are being deployed. And we have mega aerosols being deployed all the way around this system, and then they're hitting it with some kind of, laser-based weapon or microwave weapon or something. They're trying to conjure up another storm up here. We have a massive aerosol spraying going on up here. This is the system. They're trying to get this to develop so this won't move out. It can't kick out. If there's a storm here, it's going to slow the storm down. This is all manufactured weather, and we're the targets. So pray for everybody all along the coast. We're going to get into the rain amounts. Hopefully it stays closer to the Canadian model, because that's keeping most moisture off the rain. But look, they're still spraying. They're spraying heavy over here. They're still trying to guide it into Florida. They want it to hit the St. Lucie's nuclear plant, without a doubt, because that's where they were trying to steer it into, and then they had to go to plan B. They're going to try to slow the storm down and hope it wobbles. But look, here's the other aerosol deployments. This is where it's going next. You got heavy aerosols. I'm trying to get this. I mean, we'll be able to show you this on the GOES 16 and GOES 17. So they're aiming for here. They're still seeding it. They're shooting it with some kind of freaking beams from somewhere over here. I mean, who knows? They could be shooting in from the Puerto Rico and Peru. And then maybe, they're triangulating it from HARP or one of the other scatter radars up in the north. Nice crowd out there. Glad you could join us to learn the truth about these storms. In fact, this storm is definitely not a natural storm whatsoever. Just Monday night, the mainstream media said there was going to be no tropical development. There was too much Sahara dust out here. I don't know if I could bring that up. I don't know if this is it or not. I couldn't remember, though. Yeah, here it is. Let's look at this dust that we're being inundated from Africa. This thing has been just kicking our ass for over a month. And every hurricane that developed over here got wiped away. Every single one. But somehow it's like they cut a hole in this dust flume and move the whole hunk of the atmospheric river up to create this thing. Let me click play on this. See, if this storm was a hurricane, it would be sucking this dust into it. But look, it's not. The dust is staying away. The dust is actually going backwards from the storm. Here's another sign. I just spotted another sign of frequencies being used. You got the little rib looks there. But look at that. That's a perfect circle. There's no such thing as a perfect circle hurricane. Nature does not do 90-degree angles. They do not do perfect circles, perfect squares. I just showed you the square clouds. Look at it. There's a square hunk cut out of the dust. These are all being manipulated, man. It's just insane what the hell is going on. And this is going on worldwide, folks. This isn't just here in America. This is going on over in Europe, China, Russia, Australia, New Zealand. I mean, we've showed all the companies that do this stuff. This is the target. Anyway, let's jump into some maps. I already showed you they're lying about the wind speeds. Here we are looking at the GFS model. And this is the total precipitation over the next 16 days. Let me zoom in on this so you guys can see it a little better. Man, I'm already... There we go. So you can see this is the GFS model. And luckily, if this holds true, it's keeping all the moisture just off the coast. I mean, right there at the edge. You know, the mainstream keeps saying the eye wall only has about a 10-mile wide wind radius. It's dropping out these tornado strength winds. That's not normal. It's not normal at all. Let's check the Canadian model. We'll see where the Canadian model is putting all the moisture. And I want to thank everybody that shares this information out. The Canadian model is not showing as much of rain, but it's showing it kind of dipping in, hitting parts of northern Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. We know their aerosol spraying up here. They eventually want it to go way up here. So there is the total precipitation. Let me go ahead. We might as well go ahead and do, let me get this back on the GFS. We might as well do the 16-day forecast so you guys can be warned before anybody else. Here we are with our, you're going to see this other hurricane blow up in here, so I'm going to have to unzoom this so I can see the dates. Alright guys, so normally our 16-day forecasts are accurate. And actually, the other day, this was showing pretty much what we showed 2 weeks ago. But the only difference was there was no man-made, weather bomb in here, whatever you want to call it, the weather machine. Alright, so we're going to go up 6 hours at a time. And then I'll just take it up till we go into Tuesday. We'll talk about some of the weather. So here's the start of Tuesday. This thing is still hanging around down here. It should have got kicked out west, or kicked out to the east from the cold front. You got heavy rains in the same areas that we always have been, and the moisture's not being pulled back up through the Midwest, which if it stays like this, that's going to be a good thing for winter, because otherwise we were going to get, feet and feet of snow, which we'll have to check the Earth Know on that. Now we're looking at some severe weather on Tuesday, September 3rd for Wisconsin, Minnesota, right there at the border. We got we got several hurricanes that are going to be popping off here. Later in the month, we're going to have a hurricane that possibly go right up through the right up through here and maybe hit Southern California. We'll see. We'll take a look at it here. Anyway, let's go on up into Wednesday. This is going to be centered, over the Great Lakes, over Michigan. Heavy, heavy rain. So look at this thing. It's still a perfect circle. It's still down in Florida. This is just like these storms are keeping the high pressure and the low pressures out here is keeping these storms in. What they did is they messed up when that cold front come down here. The cold air is a lot colder, so it should have pushed this out. It didn't. It slowed it down. Then they're creating a storm over here to keep it blocked in here, man. That's what they're doing. Let's go on up into Wednesday. Same thing. Everybody else is going to be getting a little bit of a break. Let me get this on up. This is Wednesday going into Thursday. Now here's where some rain starts getting pretty tricky. You're looking at 6 inches of rain when it first starts hitting. And we got to see what happens. As this thing is pretty frozen down there by the nuclear reactors. Now I got all the nuclear reactors all marked on here. So we got, the one south that might have been, It was almost like they were going to bring it down south. So we got the St. Lucie one. We got this one over here, the Crystal River. And luckily, don't look like there's any hurricane or any right here till we get up here to Carolina Beach. We have the Brunswick. Didn't they have a leak the last Hurricane Florence? In fact, we had several of these were leaking, and they still are. So there's a lot of nuclear facilities over here, just a little ways inland. You got the Hatch. So, you know, this is like, I really don't even know how to forecast this thing because it's not a normal system. Hey, thanks out there. Thanks everybody out there in Super Chat, everybody that sends this stuff through the PayPal and through the PO box and stuff. It definitely helps. Like a lot of you that's been with us, you know that it costs us, you know, $350 to $450 a month for this internet. It's ridiculous and it sucks. But that's the way it is, man. That's how they want everybody that's off grid in the stack and pack cities. All right, let's go ahead and take this up a little more. Thursday, still on Thursday. It almost looks like it may be picking up a little speed here on Thursday, working up the coast. You know, we're in the reds and the oranges. We're looking at 10, 16 inches of rain. And here in Missouri, that's a normal rain for us. Every rain storm since they started pulling the atmospheric river up through the Midwest. In fact, we had 8 inches of rain in 30 minutes. Isn't that insane? Like, how's that even possible? Do they have a bucket? They're just pouring a bucket out on top of us. All right, here we are into Friday, just clobbering the Carolinas there. You're looking at, you know, 16, maybe 18 inches of rain. You know, these patterns are being pretty stationary. You know, while you got this other hurricane out here that's going to be winding down, look at the perfect circleness. This is a wind weapon. And I've been calling that from the get-go. This is a wind weapon with a bunch of rain in it. And it's got a bunch of Sahara dust in it, so it's like sandblasting anything that the wind and the rain hits. It's probably going to scrape the paint off everybody's cars. Hey, thanks out there, D&D. All right, let's take this up into Saturday, September 7th. Look, it's just going to ride up the East Coast. Look where the aerosols are being deployed. That's where it's going to hit. It's not going to slow down. This thing is still wrapped in a perfect circle with the winds and the rains. This is going to be, you know, hopefully this thing stays off the coast, that you're not going to get these mega rains, because what's going to happen if you're flooded all the way up north where everything else has already been flooded. See, they pre-flooded Florida. We called that. They've been the targets for over a month. First it was the Midwest, and then it was Florida. Just go back to and rewatch any of the 16-day forecasts we put out. They were the target. And it started actually flooding them 2 days before I called it to flood. So they actually were ahead of schedule. All right, let's go on up into Sunday, September 8th. So it looks like we're going to have a few breaks. And I'm just going to kind of scroll through this till we see a little bit of, you know, heavy weather finally maybe there in the mountains of California. But the bad thing is you're getting some winds, man. They're getting ready to crank up more fires. And we'll just kind of go through this. So hopefully this atmospheric river don't start coming up. You know, they flooded the Midwest out so bad this year that, you know, they pretty much bought most of the farmers' lands, or they're going to force them to plant the GMO crops. So everything is multi-purpose, eugenics program, you know, you name it. It's New World Order. So here we are on September 10th. We have severe weather in North Dakota. You know, there's a little bit of wind there. I don't think we're going to get tornadoes out of that, but we definitely are going to get some pretty heavy rain. Same, Florida's going to be getting a little more rain. You know, everybody's going to be trying to recover from this, whatever you want to call it, the weather weapon. You know, it looks like we're going to start hooking back up into the same pattern. You know, Wisconsin, right there at the border, Minnesota. Look at that. Look how they fire up right over Wisconsin, over Lake Michigan, Detroit, you know, up over Michigan, man. Same area. Look at this. This almost looks like Hurricane Dorian. Look at the wind field on these things. Look at that. That is like a monster land Dorian. See, these are getting stranger by the week. All these storms. So look, we're going to get a secondary flood here going through September 12th. So I wanted to get back on September 11th. So September 11th, targets, same targets that's been going on for 2 months up north. So I'm not seeing too much severe. We're going to go ahead and take this on all the way up. And here comes our next hurricane. And then we got some kind of beast coming in up here off Oregon. They need rain up here. They stole the atmospheric river earlier, and now they got them in fire mode. But check out this hurricane coming up here on September 15th. Let's track this. It's going to go right up through there, man. And there's pretty hot water in there. And that's going to be pretty crazy to watch that. Look at that. It's just riding right up through the Bajas of California, right into Southern California. You know, they've been blocking all the rain out of Arizona. And we got a little system, another little system here for Detroit. Had to back up there a little bit. I kind of missed them. So, what happened? Oh, wow, I was freaking out. I thought there was another big hurricane coming in. Okay, there we go. So you got that to look forward to around September 13th. We take this back. We're just going to go through the Canadian model real fast. We're going to kind of check their models. Hey, thanks out there, Brenda. So check this out. The Canadian model is keeping all the rain off the coast until right here, the northern part of Florida. You know, look at that. Most of that rain, that's centered right on Florida. So that's the Canadian model is looking a little worse. Look at that. That's going up into the feet of rain for Georgia, South Carolina. This is on the 5th. This is Thursday. So that's going to really create havoc for the places. Tons of flooding. You know, who knows? The winds are lying about the winds. We don't know what the winds really are. We know they're not 200 miles an hour at the surface. Regardless of what kind of footage they're showing you, we don't know. That could be old footage. Like I have the webcams, and they got them turned off. The camera is missing in action. They turned the weather cameras off. I got the whole list of them right here. I got all the Bahamas cameras, and the ones I looked at were clear. It don't even look like they're having a storm. But the one that might have been able to show something is offline. And I want to thank Jeff, I think, sent me this link. Oh, now it's got some rain. When I looked at this earlier, it didn't have no rain. Now I can't play this too much because I'll get a strike on this, which I probably already will anyway. But I'll leave the link here. Let me copy this link, and I'll post it in the chat, and I'll also post it in the description. I'll make it the second line in the description. There we go. We got that in there. Hey, nice crowd. We broke 2,000 live viewers. That's awesome. Anyway, you know, Hey, we've been documenting this for a long time. We've showed that they've been modifying the weather since the 1800s. We played the clips of the electromagnetic rainmaking, how they can steer the atmospheric rivers with just regular old NEXRAD radars, which I'll play that clip for all the new people here in a minute. But what I wanted to get into, I needed to get back where we were. All right, let's go ahead and check the one way I look for the target zones for the 2-week forecast is I go to the total accumulation and I crank it all the way up for the 16 days. So the target zones are going to be Wisconsin, upper Lake Michigan, Detroit, Canada, and then when we look here, it looks like parts of northern Florida, the Bahamas are just going to be completely underwater. You know, that St. Lucy's nuclear plant, that's the nuclear power for part of the Bahamas. There is 2 nuclear plants in the Bahamas, so maybe that was the plan B. And I thought I had the link up to that, but I don't see it here. So this is pretty accurate. You're going to get some rain that you need up here in Washington and Oregon. You're going to get a little rain you need right here in Arizona. So it looks like that secondary. I'm on the combinator. Let me get it on the GFS. We're not at 16 days. We're only at half that. So hold on. My bad. So here we are on the GFS model. Look, it's showing all the rain staying off the coast and clipping South Carolina, North Carolina, with pretty close to 16 to 20 inches of rain. You know, we're a target here in Missouri. We have been. Yeah, so they're still going to block the rain from going into California. Yeah, we'll check the buoys. I didn't even check the buoys to see if they're working. We will do that. But look at this. Here's the target for the upper north. All right, I think we are actually done with this one. I don't think we need to get into the temperature map. So let's go ahead and get out of that. I gave you guys this link. The webcat that I wanted is offline. We showed you the evidence that the winds are not even close to what they're reporting. Look at this, peak 10-second wind, 38 knots. So, like I said, we'll just show this one more time. We can look here. We have the altitudes here. The surface winds are at 21 knots. You can go all the way up to the millibars, and you know we're varying from 33 to 41. Nowhere on here is the 185 mile an hour winds till you get up to 50,000 feet, I think is what their flight path was showing. And then also, yeah, I think it was this one here. So, okay, that's a mean sea level pressure, flight level temperature. Yeah, so right here it was showing around 150 knots, but they're at 31. Let's see here. Yeah, they're around 3,100 feet up. When we get down there, that's the 20 knots were the winds. See, they're all lying. And then also we have this one. This is a completely different. This is the, I think this is the Joint Typhoon Center, or the GDAC's report. And it's showing 74 mile an hour maximum wind speed. See, they're lying on the winds, man. Completely lying on the winds. Like I said, they're manufacturing this storm to try to keep this thing parked, so hopefully they are not going to be able to do it. Let me get that. We probably ought to check the radars. And since there's a lot of people in here now, let's go ahead and show you guys one more time the actual, here on the left side here, this is an actual Category 5 hurricane. Look at how big it is. Look at the eye wall. It's kind of like an eye shape. It's kind of oblong. Then here on the right, we have Dorian. Look how small it is. Look how it's perfectly round. This is not a classic hurricane whatsoever in any kind of way. Look, it don't have the semicolon look. This one does, but this one don't. And then for the most damning evidence, in fact, I'm going to post this link in the description so you guys can look at for yourself and share it to everywhere. Share it to everybody. And hopefully it's not too long that I can post this. All right, there you go. There's the hey, thanks there, Teresa. So what you do, let me make sure I'm on the right scene. Okay, we are. Let me unzoom this a little bit so you can see everything that I'm looking at here. All right, guys. So we're at the tropical cyclone page. I just posted a link to that microwave deal there. You can add on the dynamical maps. You could put the buoys on here. So we should have a buoy right out in front of this storm right now where it's a Category 5. We're going to have to check that. And look, there's ships right here in front of the hurricane. How could there be ships there if there's like 200-mile-an-hour winds? Lies. Complete lies. I don't know what it is. It's not a hurricane. It's a weapon. This is the high pressure. See this pressure? Look at the wind flows. This thing should be pulled right on up and out, but it's not. You got the cold air crashing down. How come the storm is not turning and going up and over that high pressure? Makes you wonder. Here's our vortices. All right. Now I forgot what I was going to show you guys. Oh, we're going to check this real quick. Why is it not working? It's like the composite radar went down on us. Wow, they're not going to let us see the radars. Why can't we watch the radars? Let me try going to there. It's like the College of DeBry page went down. Let me close it completely out and I'll try it again. Let me try to bring this back up again. Maybe they're blocking my IP. Hell, I don't know. Anyway, if you want to get to that, you click on the hurricane or whatever you want to look at, and then you can come down here to the mimic. You can click the mimic, and then you're going to want to click the latest 48 hours. Now this is going to blow your, this is where we get the weird little beams being shot, and I have never seen that in the last 7 years. So let me go ahead and try to get this on the composite radar. Let me see if we can get it to play. I really want to load the 200 frames up. See, they're only giving us 24 frames. Let's try to do it again, see if it'll work. All right, it might work this time. Yeah, we got it now. So there should be massive amounts of rain here over the Bahamas, and we got to wait for it to load. You know, the governments and the alphabet agencies have been, you know, doing human experiments on us forever. We've exposed all them. You know, they've done lithium tests over Oregon. They've done radiation tests on the people of St. Louis. Hey, thanks out there, Bamboo. We got the military radars doing a few little things there. And and a lot of things, I haven't talked about this in a long time, but the wind, all these wind generators, they affect the weather. In fact, I'll do a show on that here pretty soon on them. So regardless, even though this is not showing like the rain that they're saying, be prepared for anything, because this is not a normal weather system at all. Now what I want to look at here, I want to look at the vortices. Let me check this out. Oh wow, it's not even showing. Man, sometimes when I look at this stuff, is this stuff really there? Let's try the supercell. Yeah, it blinked it there. Okay, there's the supercell composite. Where's all the rain? I mean, that's a pretty good slew of rain, but you would think that would be much worse. Yeah, see, they're pulsing that storm right there. Super pulsing it. Okay, let's go ahead and get that off. Put our watches and warnings on here, see what's going on. No, I can't take off for a holiday, man. Like a lot of people don't know, I've had to battle cancer. Ever since I started doing this, I've been attacked. This is not a good business to get into. But I've had to battle cancer and other kind of health things, but I'm doing fine right now. I stopped going to the doctors. That might be what saved me. In fact, I think the doctors are the ones that injected me with cancer. We had to have a major surgery. That's why I quit making videos for like 2 years, because I had to heal. Oh my gosh, look at the spraying operation back over Wyoming. What the hell? Look at the spraying operation over Minnesota and the Dakotas. We can also see the aerosols being deployed over Georgia, South Carolina. This is where they're trying to pull the storm up, and then they're trying to pull it out, maybe. But I think they're trying to hit Florida still, because they got aerosols right there. But wow, this is so blatant. Oh my gosh, I gotta show that. I gotta get in closer to that. This is ridiculous. They were hitting these same spots yesterday, and fires started. This is just mind-blowing right here. When the weather people say filtered clouds or filtered sun or high clouds, what they're talking about is cirrus clouds. Cirrus clouds are the clouds that the aircraft make. I'm getting ready to show you 100% proof. Look at this. See all these lines and thick, nasty, poisonous particulates in the sky. And look, it just feeds these systems. Oh, we got, severe thunderstorm warnings. We have flood watches from the aerosols that are coming out of these planes. I'm not even going to get into the bunker fuel tonight, but look at that. Look at them huge X's. Let's zoom in on that just like even closer. This has to be documented. More weather modification going on right under people's noses. It's insane, man. I did not want to go down this rabbit hole. I had a good life before I got into this stuff. But it has to be done, because all the children, all the teenagers have been brainwashed by these schools. I mean, everybody should homeschool their children, because all they're doing at the schools, wow, look at that. All they're doing at the schools is like grooming the kids to bring in the new world order. So like we are the last generations, the last real activist of the planet. Look at that, my God. That is insane right there. Wow. Ground-based weather generation going on. More aerosols down below. I just showed the company here in Idaho that has ground-based cloud. They shoot the rockets up to create the snow. Anyway, guys, man, I'm going to cut this show off right now. Super great crowd out there. Thanks everybody that joins us here on YouTube, over on D Live, over on Twitch, over on Facebook, and Above Ground World News Facebook page. Like I said, I'm going to upload a full HD version as soon as I'm done with this over on Brighton. So check that out if you want to really see this in high quality. Much love. Thanks everybody for helping me out. We're all in this together. And the thing is, no fear, man. Just stay prepared. Everybody knows what to do in floods. You know what to do in these man-made mega tornado systems. And all that stuff. Anyway, guys, much love out there. Be safe. God bless. No fear. Eyes to the skies and see through the lies. We'll be back here tomorrow night. Anyway, guys, much love. We're going to play a song called Rise. We all need to rise. Anybody that's ready needs to rise soon. Like, we need the masses to join this fight for our planet and for our kids' future and all that stuff. Anyway, guys, here we go. Let's crank it up. Play a couple songs. I'll come join you in chat.